Okay, we're going to extend our use of equations now. So we're going to use this example here. So it's the one that looks at simple interest and compound interest and compares the two. So we'll leave that and I'll move that to the side. So now I'm back to my original spreadsheet and it looks like this. And if I want to add a new spreadsheet, I just go to this plus and hit this. I could, if I want to duplicate this for some reason, like let's say that the next one was very similar to this, what I can just do is hit this and then hit, I can hit duplicate and hit that. And it's kind of neat. It'll copy it. Now I have two versions of a very similar sheet. And if I change one of them, if I change this here, it doesn't change the original. So it's a neat one if you want to play around with things, or if things are very similar, for example. But I'll get rid of that. And if I just want a blank sheet, I just hit plus, and it looks like this. So I'm going to just move that over here. Sheet 3 will be the one I'm working with. And then here we have Bank A. So I'm looking at the example, Bank A. Interest rate, next, year goes here, and then I have interest earned, and I have total, oh, it went down, no, I went total value. So that's the first one, and then I have the same sort of thing for Bank B, so I'm going to just change that a bit. I want to make sure that I'm in the right columns. So it left D blank, and then it said here, and then I go here, Bank B, interest rate. Oh, I forgot initial deposit. So this is good. So if I want to add a column in here, a row in here, sorry, I'm going to put insert one above, and then I'm going to go here and I'm going to say interest rate. And note, sorry, it thinks I'm saying interest rate because I had that before, so it is smart that way. But it's initial deposit, and I have capitals on all my words. You don't need to. In the example, it doesn't either. But be consistent, though, right? You want to start things with capital letters, like, you know, initial should be capital I. If you want a small d, that's fine. So that looks like that. I got year, I got interest earned. No, I got total value, interest earned, total value. So in this one here, I don't have interest earned. I just have total value. So I'm going to go like that. So now that looks like the example that we have. The difference is this is gray. Most of this is gray. So I'm going to make all of it gray to start off with. And I'm going to go here and then hit this, and then I'll choose a light one like that. You can do whatever you want. You can change it to yellow. Yellow's nice, actually. And then these were white, so I'll go back here, change it to white. This is not that important. No, I messed up, actually. Well, I'll show you in a second. Show you something in a second here. So again, that one was white, so if you do that, it went with it. So again, this is centered. So what we'll do here is we'll merge these cells like that. We'll merge these cells like that. And then I'll center this across the top. You don't need to do this exactly. I don't think this looks better than it did before. This one here, though, should be like that. So I'm just going to take that, do that, and it just pulls it up and it makes it like that. So I think we're about the same as the example. Nice thing here is if you hit 1 and then I hit 2, it's going to hopefully be smart enough to keep going, and it'll get me all the way to 15. So I pull, no, it won't. So one way to do that real quickly is if I go 1, let's see, and then I pull it down, it says 1 again. But one thing you can do here is you can go equals this guy plus 1, enter, and now I have a formula to calculate 2. And then if I pull that down, it will take me to 11, and I want to go all the way down to 15. So it's a quick way to do some numbering. And then I can do the same thing here. I can go 1, and I could probably just copy that, but I'm just going to go a little quicker. So you don't want to put 1 plus 1. You want to go to the one above, and then hit the one after it, and then pull that down. Again, we're going to go to 15 years. And you're going to pull that down here. So notice that when I do that, the formula does get pulled down with it. So that's E13 plus 1. So it's smart enough to know what I wanted to do there. But I'm going to show you something a little different in a second. So what happens is the first equation is, the first bank we're looking at simple interest. So we have to do, what we have is we have an interest rate of 12%. Just this is from the example, 12%, and I start with $500. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that in here. So just want to make sure that it's in the right spot. So 500 is my deposit, 500, and then I'm going to put in 12%. So I'm going to put in 0.12. But now we can look at a couple things here. We can, if you don't like how that looks, right? Because interest rate, we talk about it as a decimal, but if you don't like how that looks, what you can do is you can go and you can choose the way you want it to look. So you go to data, format, and you can change numbers and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of ways to make it look. Like you can change the alignment, but you can change what it looks like. Like, is it currency? Is it this or is it that? Some of the basic ones that are built in here are the best. So there's 500. If I want a dollar sign for that, I just put $1. And if I don't like the decimals, I can get rid of them like that. Okay. So I'm going to have 2 decimals here. And again, I don't like how that looks. I don't mind that, but I want it to look to people, if you're reading it, if we're presenting to someone, percent is talked as a percent, not as a decimal. So that is 512%. And this guy here was 212%. So this is just now going to be, so 0.12. Oh, I put a comma there. Doesn't like that. 0.12. And then that here, we said is going to be dollars, and that's going to be percent. And hopefully, let's see how that goes to make sure that's correct. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to put some formulas in, and the first formula is, okay, sorry, I just got interrupted here. So if we want to do this sort of thing and figure out the interest earned, I noticed, and this one, I could actually copy and paste. You know what, you can try to do that every time, right? So you go over here and hit paste, and it does, notice when the colors come up here, B2 is a different color than the regular text. That means that it's actually kind of activated the formula. If I click that, it says that I've earned $60 in a year, which is good because that's right. 12% is that, and then the total value. You can copy the equation, or you can think about this. What am I doing here? I'm taking the initial value and I'm adding to it this one here. Okay, so usually the first one and the second one are different here, right? So now let's try to think this through. My interest earned again will be in simple interest. You don't earn interest on the interest. So what I'm going to do is earn the interest on here. And if I pull this down, this equation down, you might think it's going to work, but what happens is that I get an error of some sort. So if I click on the error, it says function blah 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 parameter multiply. No good. Oh, one thing also, sorry, is that the asterisk here. So that's shift 8, I believe, is multiplication. So we're looking for that. It's not X like the letter X. It's shift 8 for multiplication. So if I click on this here. What has happened here is it's taken the cells, and so if you look up above here, it's gone and it's moved every cell down one. So B2 has become B3, so I don't want that. So what I do want is I want always to multiply by B2. So to do that, what you do when you type this in here, so I'll go back and I'll type this in I'll type it in, is instead of just saying B2, is I always want B2, and you put $ in front of the B so it doesn't move the B, and then you put $ in front of the 2, and now it'll always be B2. Okay, so when I copy this, it won't change the column or the row. If I wanted just the B to stay the same, but I didn't care about the column, what you do is you don't put the $ in front of the 2. Okay, so we'll go over that in a second also. So I want B2, and I'm going to multiply that every single time. I'm going to multiply that by 12%. So I'm always going to multiply it by this here. So I can click on this here, but notice there's no $signs. So I can go ahead and I can put the $sign here and the $sign here. Notice I didn't put capitals in the first spot, but I'll be fine with that. So that's fine. And then I hit enter and I get $60. So now when I pull this down, this one here says times A5. Oh, sorry. This is interest earned total, not just per year. So this is interest earned total. So I also want to multiply this by this. So now this one here, what's interesting, this is A5. When I multiply this, and I type in if I copy this down, this will be A6. So I hit star, and then I hit A. Oh, sorry. What happened here? Okay, I messed the whole thing up here. So star, and then I hit A star. Sorry. Okay, it doesn't like this. So I hit star. And then if I just want to do A6, I'll just click on that. Okay, and then I hit enter, and that's 120. So now I've earned 120. And then here I've earned 180. And when I pull this down, I realize that I didn't have to put a $ in front of the A at all. Okay, so I'm earning this amount per year. And the value here, let's see if this works. Will this work? No, it won't. So let's see what's wrong here. What I want to do is I want to take 500, and I want to add to it. So you can put 500, or you can do $ this. I would do $. Sorry, let me do this again. $. So I'm going to go like this and hit this column. So equals $B $2, and it did type B $2, and I'm going to add to that this guy. And when I pull that down, let's see if this works now. It does. Okay, so I'm in great shape here, and you can keep going with that. When you want to look over on this one here, this one's going to be a little more complicated because you're looking at compound interest. So the compound interest formula is going to be a little more complicated. I'm going to see if I can steal this and just pull this off the spreadsheet. So I've just copied and pasted. I'm going to F6, and I'm going to see if this will work. If I paste, if it'll work, it won't. So let's see what the problem is here. So I'll get rid of this here. It's probably that right there. I hit enter, and it still doesn't like that. So what's the problem here? I want F2, and I want to multiply that by 1 times F3 divided by that to the power of this, and E6. So E6 is not good. That's for cell. Put in the wrong cell. So let me try that again. So, yeah, sorry, my mistake. I forgot to put in compounding periods, so I'm going to here insert row above. You're probably yelling at the TV. Compounding periods per year. You can put that in. And then another thing, if you don't like how it fits like that, you can also just change the font to make it fit. It's up to you. And then in this case here, we are going to, in example B, we're going to change what we want. So I'm going to say monthly. So I'm going to put 12 here. Okay. And then when I copy the initial value into here, paste, this was the initial formula. It should now work. Okay. So that gets you that. And notice we have put $signs all the way across on F3, F2, everything here. Because when I pull this down, I don't want to have it come down. I don't want to change. You know, I want to go back to this. I want to go back to these cells. And then you can just go your way through that. Okay. And notice what happens here if you change the compounding periods. So if I go here and I change that, this would be a great example, actually. If I wanted to compare them, what I could do here is I could have this one. Okay. I'll leave it as 12. And then if I wanted to compare it, I could hit duplicate sheet here. And then now I'm on a copier, and then I can just go right here and I can say, okay, instead of that, what happens if I compound 365 times a year? And then you can go back and notice the slight difference. So there are slight differences in the totals. Okay. So the more you compound, the more often you compound, the higher the interest, the overall interest earned. Okay. And I think that's it. I'm running out of time here, but I think that's it. I probably want this to format it a little different, clean it up a bit, and that's up to you. The other thing too is if you want to put a chart in here, if you want to look at the total value, you can click here and then you hit insert, and then you hit chart, and then you can play around with the charts also. So let's take it a second here. And you can get a chart that looks like this. So this will give you a graph, okay? And then you can mess around with the editor. You can move this around. You can delete it. And then if you change something, so let's say I change this now to 700, notice the chart changed on its own also, okay? And then you click on that, and double click on it, and you can play around with the setup, and you can change it from a line chart to whatever you want. And if you have two pieces of data, you can add the second chart also to see where they intersect, which one's higher, which one's lower, and where they intersect and that sort of thing. So we'll get to that as we get to it, but that's the introduction to this. Okay, so enjoy, and they're awesome. Okay, and you want to change the title of it here, you want to call this something, call this spreadsheet 2.5 or whatever you want, and it'll save on its own. Take care.